Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I really wanted to make a review. It's been a while since I've made a review, but I wanted to talk about Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. I read this for the Blacklit Challenge and it was for the challenge to read a book written before the 21st century. So I really enjoyed it and I really wanted to talk about it because I don't think that it's talked about enough in the classics community. So yeah, let's begin. So in this dystopia, America is in chaos. Only violence rules and the rich and the powerful are the only ones that have the resources to be safe. In this story, we follow Lauren Olamina. She lives in a small community that is surrounded by a wall that protects them from the dangers that are outside. But the particularity of Lauren is that she was born with the ability to feel the pain and the pleasure of others. This was after her mother was taking a drug that basically caused Lauren to be born with hypersensitivity, and we get to see throughout the story how the fact that Lauren can feel the actual pain of others does affect her and is a cause of worry throughout the book, especially in a world that is very violent and in which she sees violence a lot. The other thing that is very interesting about this book is that despite the fact that Lauren's father is a minister, Lauren does not really believe in the religion that her father preaches, so she creates her own and she calls it Earthseed, and throughout the book we get to see passages of the Book of the Living, which is basically the Bible of Earthseed. I think that one of the things that really sparked my interest throughout this book is that Lauren really doesn't see Earthseed as a religion that she created, but rather one that she discovered. She continuously adds passages of the Book of the Living, and when people ask her about these sort of passages, she just admits that this is a truth that she found and that she is just writing down. The religion is centered around the idea that God is change and that he is shaped by us, the people. I think that what's really interesting about the way that Lauren perceives God is that we can kind of see the parallels of how she views God and the things that occur to her throughout the book. So for instance, she believes that because God is change, we must adapt and God must adapt to the circumstances that we are living. And we see how Lauren herself adapts fairly quickly to the things that are going on around her, and as things just get worse and worse. I think that another thing that I really wanted to talk about was just how Lauren shapes Earthseed to kind of go and, I don't want to say justify, but maybe even accept some of the things that are going on in the book. So for instance, there is a lot of killing, there is a lot of robbing, and there are a lot of questionable actions in this book, and yet it is deemed as acceptable because they must survive. However, it's really interesting to see how even Earthseed kind of accepts these kinds of behavior because people are adapting. So I think that that's the way that I saw it, and I found it really fascinating to just explore how Octavia Butler sees religion and how she sees how people believe in these religions and how they adapt their beliefs to go with their actions. I also really loved how this book, it's very realistic in the sense that there are so many things that occur that are left unfinished and there are left with the mystery. I do not know if Octavia will address some of the things that were left unfinished in the second book, which is Parable of the Talents, but I really found it fitting that we don't really know the fate of some of the characters in the story. We don't really know what happened to them, and I think that that goes with the story and just the journey that Lauren is going through. I wanted to read to you guys some of the passages of Earthseed that are throughout the book, and I marked some of my favorites, so here we go. I think that the first one, this is the first chapter, and it starts with, all that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you. The only lasting truth is change. God is change. I think that that passage alone really describes Lauren and how her personality is. We see that Lauren sees what is going on around her and wants to prepare and sees the things for what it truly is. She can witness and observe that things are not as they should be, and instead of just being complacent with the things that are happening, she's really prepared if there comes a moment where they have to run away for their own survival. But I just wanted to leave you guys with the fact that it's a very scary book, because you can recognize some of the things that are going on in this book and how things that are happening right now. It's a very weird sort of dystopian, because we don't see that the government is really controlling everything. It's not like The Handmaid's Tale, that is very just controlled by religion and government, or The Hunger Games, or 1984. I think that this is actually kind of the contrary, is having the government not control some of the things that are going on, or just have a non-existent government. I don't think it's barely mentioned that a government does exist, and when it is mentioned, people talk about it as if it doesn't exist. So we have an election in this book, but people really don't care. They have an opinion about it. I think that the father, Lauren's father, this is the beginning, of course I don't want to spoil much, but at the beginning of the book we see that Lauren's father supports a candidate, but in the end he didn't even vote for him. So they, despite the fact that there is a government and that there is voting and people get to vote for their candidate, they don't think it to be important enough to actually go and vote, because this government is not doing anything for them in the first place. So yeah, that is my review of Parable of the Sower. I think it's been one of my favorite books so far of the year, and I cannot wait to read the second part and see what happens to Lauren and her friends. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and let me know if you have read this book and what you think about it. Bye!